So we will start with demos. Who wants to go first today?
I can go first.
All right.
Let me share my screen.
Oh, let me change the settings. Sorry, I always forget to do this. There you go.
So our issue was issue 11, and that with me and Kelsey, our issue was issue 11, and we were working on deleting an item from the list. So when a user clicks on the delete button, they should be prompted to confirm if they want to delete or not. And they could either cancel that if they're not sure, or they could delete it. And once they click delete for sure, then it would be deleted from the list as well as from the Firestore. So how we did that was in single item, we created a function on the delete. So it would be handle delete on the button on click. And inside the handle delete button, we would have a window.confirm asking the user, which would pop up like a modal asking if they really want to delete the item. And they could either choose OK or cancel. If they click OK, then there would be a function where inside the Firestore, it would delete that item. And then the list would render so that the item disappears as well. And then I could demonstrate on here. Oops. Oh wait, this is not the right branch. And then once you click delete, it says, do you really want to delete bacon? Cancel OK. If you click OK, then it would delete it from here as well as in the Firestore. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Do you want to also show the other PR that you did?
Oh yeah. It was regarding the ARIA label for the button. So after the accessibility workshop, we wanted to add an ARIA label because the button didn't have a label indicating whether or not we wanted to delete. So we added the ARIA label of clear search to that X button. So when you write here, this would now have, if you inspect it, it would have a name of clear search. And how we did that was we added a ARIA label to that button now of clear search.
Nice work.
Nice.
Nice job.
Thank you.
All right. Is it our turn, I guess?
Yeah. Julian needs to go ahead.
All right. Julie, do you want me to share?
Yeah, you can share.
Okay. Share. Cool. Let me controls. Cool. So I guess, yeah. So for our issue, so we wanted to display the items in order, both alphabetically and in order of how soon the user is likely or wants to buy each item again. And then there we wanted to have a color distinction So each kind of section, soon, kind of soon, not soon, and inactive has a different background color. Yeah, so that's kind of like the basic overview. We did run into some issues, and we'll talk about that. But here, Julia, I'm just going to share from our pull request, so we can see the things that we added. And this might not be up to date. Like I think yeah, I don't know, but I guess we can start with how we sorted it. So Julia and I met a few days trying to figure it out. And at first we were trying to just use like a normal sort method. And I don't know if it's because like Firestore returns a snapshot, or it's like a little bit more of a complex array, I think, than like a normal like data response from an API call. At least it like felt that way. So we kind of struggled to do that. And then the next day we kind of figured out that we could do this order by to try and sort it that way, so that by the time we actually get the data, it's already kind of sorted for us. And way we figured that out is if you go into the Firestore and you want to filter or sort items, you can kind of do that. And then we kind of saw that this thing was here. It's like, oh, like maybe that's something we could try. So we decided to do it by days until purchase, which is the value that gets estimated from the calculate estimate function, which calculates like how many more days until the user will purchase the item next. But also, I don't know if it's on here. When the user adds an item in the add item component, originally days until purchase was initialized as a null value. We changed that to frequency because it kind of makes sense that that would be like the initial value that the user selects when they add the item. So that's how we sorted it, but we did run into some issues. And we'll show you some of those, I guess, when we show you the production site. Julia, do you want to talk about this part?
Also, while doing the sort, we edit index in the Firestore. To be able to work with order by, we needed to add some order index in the Firestore itself. Like, yeah, here we can see.
Yeah.
Without them, it's not working. Like, it's returning error normally. So we first sorted by days until purchase, ascending, then order by name to sort alphabetically. Then in the single item, like we showed the colors. If the days until purchase less than 7 days, we are showing as green in the background. And we added also ARIA label. It will show like by soon. And days until purchase between 7 to 30 days, it will show the background as orange and ARIA label by kind of soon. And other one is red if it's like more than 30 and 40 days. And we had some issue with inactive, like we couldn't exactly calculate. We just use like else gray, like if it's inactive, we are showing as gray, but we couldn't do the calculation exactly for that.
Yeah. Yeah, we were trying to, because it is weird, like we wanted to have like the days until purchase, but like for inactive, we tried to have it to calculate a value that was like how many days between today's current date and the last purchase date. And so we're doing these if else statements, but these conditions are based off on days until purchase. And so when we tried to throw in that other value in there that represented how many days had passed since they had purchased it, it didn't mix well, I guess. It wasn't like working.
Uh, normally inactive
yeah.
is like the time must elapse since the last purchase, like double like more time than was estimated, like in the
Yeah.
acceptance criteria.
Yeah. Yeah. And then for the styling, we just did like an inline style, had a background color, and then this variable that we created, we set equal to that. And then for the ARIA label, we had aria.checked or aria-checked to see if the checkbox was checked, and that's set to the is purchase value, which is true or false. And then the aria label, which is this variable right here, we did that. It might be like too many, I don't know, but yeah, so that's the code part. Sorry for the long explanation. And then this is kind of the example. So let me add a new item and keyboard kind of soon, add item. Okay, so that works out. So you'll notice all these green items are in the soon, buy soon section. These numbers to the right represent the days until purchase, just so we could visualize it. Notice how brand new guitar starts with a B, but it's at the end, it's not at the beginning. And that is because it has a greater days until purchase value. If there was another item that had the same days until purchase value, plates and soon, then that comes after B because they have the same days until purchase value. So it's alphabetized according to like the days until purchase, but not all in the soon section.
Yeah, we thought like maybe we can render like single items like 4 times according to their days until purchase and sorting alphabetically. But we checked the acceptance criteria, like some teams tried that and they don't want us to use that. It's only one single item is enough according to acceptance criteria.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of the challenge we face, but now this jumped up here and see it's not like really alphabetical, but kind of. So yeah, those are what we worked on. And I'll stop sharing screen.
Oh, cool.
Silence. Just
I
kidding.
have not, I haven't used indexes before in Firestore. Do you want to explain, you want to explain really quickly what they are? Because I think there's two different kinds. There's like the composite indexes and there's the other indexes.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure how it works.
Alright.
The only, yeah. So let me hide this floating panel. So we just kind of came across it when we were trying to like sort the items. We were doing the order by days until purchase, order by name, and we kind of got an error, and the error in the browser said that we needed to create an index, and it gave us a link to click on basically to this page here. And you can add an index and say like what field path you want to sort by. Do that and then create index, basically give it a name. So yeah, let's see. It says Cloud Firestore uses composite indexes for compound queries, not already supported by single field indexes. And we didn't have any
I see. So it kind of just, it sets up the filter so that it's faster to query. Is that what it is?
I think it, sorry, go ahead.
It showed up in the console, like while we were trying to use order by, then it automatically created itself, like Firebase wanted us to
Oh,
use.
right.
Yeah, I think it allows us to create like compound queries since we were using 2 order bys up here. If it was just one, like if we took that away, then well, I think we still needed to do it, but because we're doing dot where and then order by, and so that's a compound query, and I guess it needed a composite or compound index to do that. So yeah, not 100% sure how it works, but it helped. So
Okay, cool. And then your comment about you didn't quite understand how to make the calculation for the inactive items, right?
yeah, we did create a variable doing something like this. Oh, I'm not showing my screen, but
Oops. That's okay. That lasts.
super quickly, doing something like this. No, sorry, that's not even the right one. I don't have it.
It's an issue. You wrote it in the pull request.
Oh, okay.
Like there's calculation,
Pull requests,
yeah, in the
conversation.
conversation, yeah.
Oh yeah, right here. Created a variable math.round. So today's date minus the last purchase date, and then divided by milliseconds per day. So we could get like a even number, like number of days that had passed since the item was purchased. And we were trying to pop that variable inside of the if else statements, but
Oh, yeah.
I think it wasn't, since like the if else statements were using days until, I don't know, it didn't work. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, because we were comparing 2 different things. So
All right, we can add that into we can add that into a separate issue. And see if we can fix that later on. But
Oh.
nice job with the sorting and setting that up.
thanks.
Does anyone else have any other questions? All right. So I think today is we're doing another retro, right? Let me I can set up the board really quickly.
I've already set one up. Both.
Oh, awesome.
Sorry, by the way, I'm at my future brother-in-law's pie shop in Denver, so the sound's a little bit, but I was down here fixing a network problem and didn't have time to get back to where I live. So I'm gonna minimize my unmuted time.
No problem.
But so check out the retro board I just sent in the Zoom chat, and I'm gonna share my screen as well. And then I'll mute myself briefly here, but if everyone could take a few minutes to just, there's 125 now, or it's something 25, depending on where you are. Let's take until whatever 32, 1:32 my time. And we'll all just kind of take those 7 minutes, write some appreciations, positives, negatives, and action items for this week.
All right.
Like if everyone's cool with Fleetwood Mac, I could leave my mic on, and we could all you can go your own way. It's playing right now, so. Kind of like the Jeopardy music, you know. All right, great. A little bit wired this morning. Okay. Just a few more minutes for folks. If anyone has any notes on things to be improved, that column needs a little bit of love. But then again, y'all are doing pretty incredibly overall. So I would understand, and I do understand that that's usually our smallest column for a good reason, I think. A couple minutes left. Anybody still working on anything?
Yeah, one more for me.
Cool. Alrighty, I'm gonna call it there. And I will lead this retro with my customary verbs, etc. It would be good if the verb were playing right now. But anyway, they only have that one song. So yeah, let's start off with appreciations. And Julia, do you want to go first?
This week Sandy was checking our issue also, and I appreciate for that. Like she was also trying to understand. We were a little confused about our issue. So thank you for that.
Super important, and y'all have been doing some awesome cross team work. So that's a great shout out. Sandy, next one's you.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. When we're working on an issue, I loved how everyone was involved inside our calculate estimate dilemmas. So that was really awesome that we're all working on it together, even if it's not a specific team's issue. So I love the teamwork.
Right on, absolutely. Julia, next one is yours.
Yeah, I appreciate Issa for taking the time to meet like almost 7 hours this week. Like we met so many days. Yeah, thank you, Issa.
That's dedication, and we all appreciate you taking this that seriously as well. So yeah, absolutely. Next one was Issa's.
Yeah, just want to say thank you to mentors and peers. So Louis and Sandy, you both definitely chipped in and helped us when we posted some of our questions and helped out a lot. So thank you.
Awesome. Louis, I believe you're up next.
I was gonna say I appreciate that all the Collabbies on both their PRs worked on some accessibility stuff. So it was awesome.
Great call out. I love to see that ARIA stuff too is implemented really well. And I think this is a great example that just shows like it doesn't have to be a ton of work. It can just be a little annotation to make a huge difference to folks. So great call out there too. Next one's from Megan.
It's the same call out.
Sorry, I didn't see your message.
No, it's okay.
I think it's worth calling out twice. Awesome work, everybody. And I guess now I've done it too. So yeah, 3 call outs from the mentors. Yeah, thanks y'all for doing that. That's and hopefully it was instructive and interesting. Next one was Issa's.
Yes, thank you, Julia, for your patience and dedication as we work through our issue this week. Yeah, it's hard, but we did it and you did a great job.
And yeah, again, I just appreciate how well y'all are working together and the amount of positive feedback you've got. That's fantastic. And the last one's from mine. That was just a thanks to Louis and Megan for helping me out. My air conditioner finally just died this summer. It's gone. We had to replace it, and so I was staying with my fiance for a while, and just kind of completely uprooted from most of my stuff, and I didn't remember to schedule office hours till these two helped me out in the middle of the week with my memory. So that's greatly appreciated, and as well, thank you all for attending. I really appreciated that. I think I'm no Issa couldn't make it. Am I remembering right? Were you there? You couldn't make it. Okay, yeah.
I was
and
not.
then
Yes.
but I think we got everybody else, and I think apart from that, it seems like the lessons transferred really well, and office hours were a lot of fun for me too. That was, I think, my first one where we let it that we had anything to properly do. So yeah, cool. Let's head on to what went well. Julia, these first two are yours.
Yeah, I think officers are great. Like we are seeing how we can debug the code, how to make it better. I really love, and yeah, we are getting good feedback on the PRs and from other collabs. Yeah, I think these are very going smoothly.
Couldn't agree more. Fantastic. Thanks so much for those call outs, Julia. This one's from Sandy.
I also agree with Julia. I really think the office hours are great just for communicating on any issues that they were working on when they were working together. And so everyone's like in the loop when that happens. And also on Slack, like, everyone's really communicative there as well. So I think it works really well.
Amazing. Yeah, absolutely. Communication in this group has not been a problem. Y'all are fantastic. Couldn't agree more about that one either. Next one's mine. I just wanted to say, I really love the way that the PRs are looking. They're super easy to understand what everything does. I think, I love the photos and GIFs that y'all have in there. I think they're fantastic, and just been overall great work. Next one was Isis.
Yeah,
Next two,
these
actually.
two are, yeah, these two are kind of, I guess, highlighting the same thing. But yeah, I think team collaboration, just kind of what others have said, when there's good communication and good feedback and help from everyone. And I think that helps a ton. And yeah, and the next one is kind of the same thing. So teamwork went well.
It sure looks that way. And this was clearly a week with some interesting, like, logistical back end to front end wiring up challenges that were, clearly a bit of work. So nicely done. And I'm glad that y'all are engaged and interested, and that you, sort of, so to speak. So, and the next two are mine. I just wanted to say, first of all, that Issa and Julia, the Firestore sorting was really cool. I'm glad you found a database solution for it. And I know that some of that might be a little bit less familiar, but doing those kinds of integrations is very much like serious business in the software engineering world. And so is, by the way, just wanted to call out Kelsey and Sandy for staying on in office hours for the whole call and helping us all look at that. Especially, we learned some things about how much JavaScript I don't know in these office hours. So that was kind of fun, and it got us to a place where I think we were able to, like, just through kind of having the whole group work together, get to a better understanding and get some new solutions in there. Turns out we already met, or like y'all already met the acceptance criteria. So that's, didn't end up being a huge problem, but it's absolutely pro software engineer kind of behavior to stick around to help folks as long as you can. So yeah, only positive things to say there. Let's move on to the what could be improved column. First one is Sandy's.
Yeah, I was nitpicking for that. I was like, what could I put in there? But if anything, I noticed that during what we're choosing, it could be hard to choose an issue between the two teams. So I was wondering, like, maybe in the future, there could be like a different method just to switch things up a little in case, like, it's hard for two teams to choose a specific issue out of the two.
I think that's a great idea. We could certainly have a random assignment for the next one if folks are interested in that. And maybe let's. I think now's a good time for us to actually let that. Does anyone else have an interest in trying that differently than it's currently set up with issue assignments? Does anyone have any other ideas or want to try a different way?
Well, there's only one issue left, so it's not going to be an issue anymore.
Okay, well, never mind then. Thank you, Louis, for keeping track of that. Cool.
I'll submit that feedback later to the mentors. I'll
I think
suggest
that's
it.
a good one for us to like look at for future groups. Yeah. Cool. So next one was Julius.
I felt like every week working through the issues, some issue is easier than the other issue. I felt like that. Like I thought maybe they could have similar levels of difficulty.
It's a very interesting point, and that's maybe more good feedback for us to bring back to the rest of the mentors, just as we're kind of setting up the next groups, is that if your impression is that every week there's an easy one and a hard one, it doesn't seem like it's a great way for us to, I don't know, maybe that's the best way to do it, maybe it's not, but we should be doing it intentionally if we're doing it, and I don't know that that's the case, so. Anywho, we'll want to discuss that amongst the other mentors. Next one was from Megan.
Yeah, this is just sort of like a general ask for the Collabbies, if there's like any stuff where you feel like as mentors, we could be more useful, if there's any kind of like support that you feel like you've been missing or that we could be better about. Just wanted to like start the conversation.
I think y'all have done great in supporting us, especially as it relates to our project. Yeah, and just like being really good about doing weekly syncs and office hours and stuff. The thing that I would be interested in, not really so much like supporting us more, cause like, but also like it would be cool to know more about like what you all do in your jobs. Just as for me personally, it's just like having a curiosity about the different aspects, software engineering and kind of how you got there. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and also I think after Collab Lab there will be Career Lab, something like that, 2 weeks, like for interview prep. I think it will help more for job searching.
Yeah, the career lab is coming up soon for sure, and that's definitely more finely tuned toward like interview prep, resume review, stuff like that. And I think that's going to be super valuable. I know I'm really excited about that part because I don't know, I used to lead a DevOps department, so I did a lot of hiring design, and I was we hire like crazy at Cisco too, usually in these giant batches of like there's 2,000 open recs. So hiring stuff is a lot of fun. It's conversations I think a lot of seniors tend to be a part of. So yeah, I think those are both really good points. Sandy, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Oh, no, I definitely agree with what Lisa said also about hearing the background stories. And I think we've been also asking during office hours too. So I like our conversations there.
Would it be helpful to have like a outside of office hours kind of like conversation about that, like more of an informal sort of Q&A time? We could either do it like in a Zoom, or we could just do it like on Slack. If you have questions of stuff, we could just like start a thread of questions and our responses to them.
Yeah, Slack has huddles now, so we can set up a huddle.
Oh, I
Like-
haven't used that.
It's like an impromptu voice chat. If you've used Discord, it's like a voice channel thing, but it's in the actual channel.
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
I think that'd be fun. We should set up one of those and we can talk about career stuff. I think that'd be really neat.
Yeah. Also just like, and I don't feel like I feel like all of you have been easily approachable. And I don't remember if we did this at the beginning. Did we have like a get to know you kind of thing? Like a brief one? I think that would be cool. Just kind of like piggybacking off of that.
Yeah, totally. It's a really good idea. And I'm going to make an AI for that too. Maybe just like a Zoom call where we, go a little bit more into like sort of post icebreakers.
Yeah.
Like
And
the ice
I
is
did
broken.
remember, I just remembered that I missed the first weekly sync. So that's probably why I feel that way. So sorry.
Okay, cool. And Isa, the last one was yours, I believe, in terms of improvements.
Yeah, this is just similar to what Julia already brought up um, about some of the issues being kind of difficult, and maybe there should be more balance. But I do want to say also positive note on that end has been being able to receive help and feedback from our other collabs and mentors. So it's been, yeah, it's kind of balanced out in its own way, but still something I think worth mentioning.
Cool, absolutely. Sorry, I forgot I was running this segment for a bit there because you were running it so well, Isa. All right, let's go ahead and look at some action items. I believe someone's editing these at the moment, but so Lewis is going to set up a Slack huddle. We'll talk about career stuff there. I think that's a good one, and we should, I think, consider a getting to know you call. I might try and organize something like that if anyone else is interested. I don't know. Is there any kind of appetite for that on this particular call? Like, maybe raise your hand if that's something that you would want to like go to.
Yeah, we can do the huddle this week for the career stuff, and then the week after
Yeah.
we can do the getting to know you call.
I think that's a good idea, and maybe there will be room in, like, maybe when we do the career huddle, we can sort of offload some of that into that situation. That's a thought. And then the last one, Lewis, was create issue to help for sorting inactive items.
Yeah, what we discussed today. I'm gonna assign that to Isa to write up. That's all right.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for the retro. Megan, I think issues are to you in that case.
Yep. Let me share my screen.
Thanks everyone for bearing with me. I know that we're got like white snake going on right now, and that's just an interesting situation.
You did well.
Okay, so this week the pairs are going to be, I think we're on week 7 now. So Julia and Sandy, and then Isa and Kelsey. So the format for this week is going to be a little bit different from what we've done in the past. So there's only, well, these are like extra issues that we have added over the course of our project, but the like main one to tackle for the next 2 weeks is this one. Whoops. So as a user, I want the app to look professional and welcoming. This one is much more open-ended, so there's not like a super strict set of acceptance criteria, but this is basically like the team is going to get together and come up with some ideas for what the design of the app should look like, and then break that down into your own stories and then sort of like self-organize a little bit more. So you'll still have like your pair that you're working with over the course of the week, but like which stories you pick up are much more up to you all. So this is the sort of like general process. So talking about like what kind of vibe you want the app to have, coming up with like a mood board. There's an example here of just like, oh, never mind. This is like a tool that you could use to come up with some like pictures or inspiration for what you want your app to feel like. There's also some like branding things of choosing colors and fonts. And then some more like design or like technical implementation level details of like deciding if you want to do straight CSS or if you want to use like a CSS framework. There are some options down here for like different kinds of component frameworks that you could use if you're interested in learning one of those. So yeah, this is probably gonna require like a follow-up meeting after this so that you all can brainstorm ideas, all 4 of you together, and then split that work up into additional issues and then like assign them to yourselves. So this one story will take up like the next 2 sprints. So keep that in mind as well. What questions do folks have about this one? I know this is a little bit different.
Yeah, since this is a 2-week project, usually what teams do, I think, is they'll spend the first week probably figuring out the design, going through some branding stuff. Not like a ton of coding, but there should be something to at least share for the next meeting. And then after that, they'll probably spend the second week actually building it out. So like the first week is usually just spent designing and things like that. And the second week is programming, but that's just what some teams
Cool.
do. You can sort of mix it if you want. But
Folks have questions on this?
I have a question, not really about this issue per se.
Mhm.
But so like we have a couple other issues. Is this, I guess we can just kind of talk amongst ourselves if like how we'll want to do that. Cool.
yeah,
I think they're just
I
smaller
recommend
things.
probably just reviewing the issues that are extra, like maybe this week, and deciding amongst yourselves which ones you want to tackle.
Yeah, and this is also like an exercise in project management and like prioritizing stuff. So you maybe will have more stories than you can get to over the course of the next 2 weeks, and that's fine. I think that I've heard of groups in the past like continuing to work on this afterwards, which is an option, but not required in any way. So yeah, feel free. This is like your project to make decisions about what you want to include and what stuff you want to deprioritize and say like, well, we'll get to that someday, maybe.
So we can add whatever issue we want, like if you
Mhm.
want testing, we will add testing.
Yep. Yeah. This one is much more open-ended of like whatever stories you think are important and worth finishing before the end of like the term, then yeah, go for it.
If you have questions about setting up any frameworks or anything, like I've used a lot of those, so, and we can help you get them set up because I think they're all a little bit different in installing. Or if you want to use something else like styled components or SAS, we can help you figure out what packages you need to install.
Thank you.
Sweet.
All right.
Good team.
You excited to make this look pretty?
Yeah, it'll be cool. I haven't done CSS in a while, so
Yes,
Very
usually
excited to
the-
see what y'all come up with.
cool. Yeah, I guess maybe we can start like a thread or like a message for like us and then chat in there. So,
All right, sounds good.
all right.
Anyone have anything else to add before we head out?
You're doing great.
Thanks.
All right, we'll be on Slack. Feel free to message us. Have
Okay.
fun. Have a great weekend, everyone.
All right. Same to you all. Thanks.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.